Hi, welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, a former newspaper editor starts a new gig with Oxford Township, and the township receives $30,000 in grant funds to benefit those in need. Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. When all was said and done, the Oxford Township Board voted to award $4,500 in CDBG grant monies to Haven of Pontiac. In addition, the board is planning to use $16,000 of those funds for mobile home repairs within the Lake Villa and Parkhurst Homes complexes, and they're setting aside $5,000 for repairs on 1 or 2 homes in Oxford Township. Our remaining $4,500 will go to residents for emergency food, utilities, rent, mortgage, medical, and educational assistance. On November 16th, the Women's Marines Association packed 240 boxes to be shipped overseas for Christmas for our overseas troops. The boxes were packed at the Romeo Masonic Lodge. VFW Post 334 donated $1,000 in food items for the event. Daniel Axford and Oxford Elementary Schools, Kingsbury Country Day School, and Oxford Clarkston's Middle School made up over 500 Christmas cards for the troops, which were included in the boxes. The association says the cost of shipping is $18.50 per box, and they're seeking support for this money. Support can be sent to the WMA Motor City MI-2 box P.O. Box 590, Romeo, Michigan 48065. C.J. Carnacchio is no stranger to Oxford, having worked in the community for 20 years as a writer turned editor for the Oxford Leader, and living in the same community for the past 19 years. The 43-year-old has accepted a new position, but will still serve this community, just in a different way. As the Communications and Grant Manager for Oxford Township, part of Carnacchio's job is to keep the lines of communication open between the public and the township government, and to inform public about anything from important meetings or hearings to utility work that will affect normal traffic flow. In addition, he will be pursuing grant monies which will benefit the community. Carnacchio credits his vast knowledge of Oxford that he has gained over the years as one of the ways which made him suitable for this new position. Congratulations, CJ. In this season of Thanksgiving, volunteers from the local Veterans of Foreign Wars Affairs, VFW Post 108, have taken the spirit to heart. Last week, they packed up bags with food items and readied them for some needy senior citizens in the Oxford-Addison community. Post Commander Jim Hubbard said that this is the 5th time the VFW was partnered with Local Meals on Wheels group to make these food deliveries possible. Local Meals on Wheels is coordinated by Older Persons Commission, which is the OPC in Rochester. The OPC provides a truck for food deliveries to the Oxford United Methodist Church Monday through Friday, and from there, Mary Reynolds, the Oxford area OPC coordinator, distributes the meals to volunteer drivers who deliver them to the seniors in their homes. The program provides seniors with 1 nutritional meal per day. A second meal is available upon request. Meals on Wheels also provides frozen food to be eaten over the weekend. To sign up for Meals on Wheels deliveries, make a donation to the program, or volunteer as a driver, please call 248-236-9260. 248-236-9260. If you're a senior living in the Oxford area, would like a free lunch and be entertained, don't forget to call to reserve a spot for the Oxford Rotary's annual Christmas party. The decades-old tradition is Tuesday, December 10th, starting at 11:30 a.m. Live entertainment provided by Oxford High School students. The lunch will be at the high school, and shuttle service will be there to provided a ride from the parking lot to the entrance. Deadline to RSVP is Friday, December 6th. RSVP by calling 248-969-5167. And that's it for the Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, you can pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us on our website at OCCTV.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channels, Spectrum Channel 191 and AT&T Channel 99. Coming up on Oxford News this week is Cody Wright with School Sports and River Tuck with School News, and you don't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny. I'm Terry Stiles, and thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In its first story, it turns out you can teach an old bird new songs. Adult thrush nightingales have been observed learning new songs in their wintering grounds just as they did as young birds. The new melodies may help them impress mates when the spring breeding season arrives. Thrush nightingales breed in northern Europe and undertake a lengthy migration to sub-Saharan Africa, where they spend the winter. In Europe, their songs are used to defend territory and attract mates, but it was unclear why they continued to sing in the wintering grounds. The birds are practicing songs in Africa even in their later years, says Abel Sarau at Charles University in the Czech Republic. He and his colleagues recorded natural bird song from thrush nightingale breeding grounds in Poland and Russia and compared them with the songs heard in wintering grounds in Tanzania. That is to say, Tanzania. They broke it down, each song into the syllables that make up the melodies, looking for common patterns. These include pairs of notes that typically start a song, repeated notes, and complex trills, and the rhythmic castanet-like notes that typically end a song. These elements were all in the songs recorded in Poland and Russia. But 89% of the songs recorded in Tanzania lacked a typical song structure, were missing silent pauses between phrases, and had high variation in the subnotes that make up the song. In other words, they weren't recognizable as a nightingale song. This suggests the birds are listening to their neighbors and future rivals and having a kind of jam session as they remix song elements into new patterns. A similar finding was made a few years ago in a study that focused particularly on another songbird called the great reed warbler. What we love in nightingales is that they sing with so much complexity and regularity, like classical music. But this is totally random vocalization. There's no beginning, no end. It's more like improvising, says Sariao. Thrush nightingales typically know between 23 and 42 songs, and they usually learn them when they are young. The winter songs recorded in this study are more typical of songs sung during early song development and suggest that thrush nightingales may be singing during the winter to improve the quality of their song, says Marjorie Sorensen at the University of Guelph in Canada. Given that in subsequent breeding seasons, females choose mates based partly on the quality of their song, this may be a smart long-term strategy. She says migratory birds like nightingales could sing in winter to defend their feeding territories, but more research is needed to show that. In our next story, we are one step closer to unraveling the mystery of the mass of the neutrino. It has been revealed that the particle, which was once thought to weigh nothing, probably has a mass 500,000 times less than an electron or lower. The new upper limit of the neutrino's mass, 1.1 electron volts, is almost half the previous known upper limit of 2 electron volts and brings us nearer to pinning down the exact mass of this elusive particle. Neutrinos are a billion times more abundant in the universe than atoms, so even tiny neutrino masses could make a big contribution to the mass of the universe, says Christian Weinheimer at the University of Münster in Germany. Identifying the mass of the neutrino will not only help us to discern the structure of the early universe, but may also help scientists better understand the physics of the smallest things, he says. To estimate the upper limit of the neutrino's mass, the international team of researchers analyzed the decay of a radioactive form of hydrogen called tritium, a process that emits an electron and a neutrino simultaneously. By measuring the energy of the released electrons, they were able to estimate the mass of the neutrino with greater precision than was previously possible. We are extremely happy and proud, says Weinheimer. He was part of the international collaboration of scientists behind the Karlsruhe tritium neutrino experiment. Weinheimer and his colleagues were able to measure the precise energy of the electrons by using an enormous purpose-built electron spectrometer that is 24 meters tall and 10 meters across. It's very, very exciting, says Melissa Uchida at the University of Cambridge in the UK. This is the most precise measurement we've ever had, she says. Uchida thinks the project gives us real hope of pinpointing the mass of the neutrino in the upcoming years. But we may finally be able to put together the puzzle of how the formation of the universe happened, says Uchida. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
If you're interested in sponsoring a show for OCTV, please give us a call at 248-628-9658 and we'll air a promotional video for your local business.
Hello, Oxford parents and students, and welcome to this week's edition of School News and our first school news coverage of December. Coming off the heels of last week's brief Thanksgiving break, the entire school district is back in full gear with winter concerts, performances, SAT testing, and more. As always, you can tune in here for coverage of those wonderful concerts or catch the concerts online on our Oxford Community Television YouTube page. Before we get into all of the exciting holiday events and cheer, let's recap our outstanding Thanksgiving school week across the district. Through their penny wars at Oxford Elementary, the students managed to raise an incredible $1,630. For anyone not aware, Penny Wars is a competition between different classes to try and accrue the most points in their buckets. The classes earn points in the form of pennies, but lose points in the form of silver coins or dollars that other classes put in their buckets. The competition is a great way to encourage students to get involved with a little friendly competition and get their loose change around the house put to a great cause. The students and teachers especially get involved and raise an outstanding donation every year. Congratulations is in order for all of the staff and students at Oxford Elementary for their efforts toward a great cause, which also included their help in Oxford Elementary and Daniel Oxford's food drive. Together, both schools brought in more donations than they ever have before. That food will go to keeping other families in and around the Oxford area fed for the holiday season. A great lesson for the children at these schools. At the high school, Oxford National Honor Society and leadership students finished their food drive dedicated to collecting food items for the Oxford Orient Fish Food Pantry. They collected more than triple the donations they have ever collected in the past and collected over 9,000 items by the end of that drive last week. So a big thank you to all of the staff and students and parents who contributed over the last 2 weeks, making this a memorable Thanksgiving week here in Oxford. Also in last week's news, all of the 4 Oxford Middle School robotics teams competed in the OMS-hosted robotics competition along with competitors from other schools. Robotics programs like the ones at OMS are doing a great job at encouraging students to explore the fields of technology and science while building strong teamwork and communication skills for those students. More of those competitions are coming up throughout the rest of the school year, so look forward to coverage on that, and to all of our Oxford robotics students, we wish you the best. Our congratulations is in order to Ava Tarek of Oxford Middle School, who was awarded one of 5 honorable mentions in the middle school category of the I Voted Sticker Contest. Ava's entry was one of 600 submissions, all under the theme of the 100th anniversary of women's suffrage. Ava was recognized by the Oakland County Board of Commissioners at their November 20th meeting. Congrats, Ava. Now coming into this week, there are a plethora of concerts and performances in celebration of the winter season. Starting off the week on Wednesday, Leonard and Lakeville are having concerts both in and out of their schools. Leonard is having their in-school 5th grade performance from 3 to 4. Lakeville is having their elementary concert at the Oxford High School Performing Arts Center from 6:30 to 7:30, and Leonard is finishing out the night at the Performing Arts Center starting at 7:30, ending that at 8:30. Going into Thursday, Clear Lake Elementary are having their concert at the Performing Arts Center starting at 6:30 going to 7:30, and this time Oxford Elementary is finishing off the night at the Performing Arts Center starting their concert at 7:30 going to 8:30. Outside of the concerts this week, there is a SAT testing being held at Oxford High School both this weekend and the next. Good luck to all the students preparing for those tests. Remember to get lots of sleep and a great breakfast. Over at the Oxford Public Library, there are a host of events this December. Every Thursday, the Dungeons & Dragons Club meets at the library. For more information on that, speak to Teen Services at the library. This week, the library hosts Wee Wednesdays, a drop-in all-ages story time in the youth department. This weekend, enjoy a movie on the library's big screen. This Saturday, the library is playing A Christmas Story at 1 p.m. in Rotary Room A. Also on Saturday, anyone can drop into the youth services area after 1 p.m. for STEAM Crafternoon. STEAM, Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Mathematics Crafternoon invites anyone to come create an art project tied to a theme that changes every Crafternoon. STEAM is a great way to get people of all ages involved in a wide range of skills. On December 8th, the Oxford Public Library will be hosting a Nutcracker Ballet afternoon. Dancers from LA Dance will tell the story of the Nutcracker while performing some highlights of the ballet. Register under events or call 248-628-3034. Registration for this event is required. This is a free program and all ages are welcome. That about wraps it up for your school news here at OCTV. Look forward to all of the great events and happenings around Oxford this cold December month. For your Oxford School News, I've been River Tuck. Until next time, Oxford.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody Wright back here for this week's sports report. Last week the teams were on break, so we don't have much to go over. However, we do have some hockey. This next week, girls basketball also kicks off, and the following week we have the boys. Anyhow, let's dive right in. First off, the Oxford and Avondale boys varsity hockey team has kicked off their season at the Detroit Skate Club once again. We made it out to these two games, and let me tell you, this is a completely different team. We got a full bench, two very solid lines, and a good body in net. I think we have an exciting season ahead of us. The boys took on West Bloomfield on Monday the 23rd. It was a very tight game, and overall I'd say we outplayed them. We did fall in the end 2-1, but the scoreboard really didn't reflect what we saw on the ice. The boys have a very solid forecheck, and defensively we break the puck out very nice. We saw a lot of good passes, and we continue to get great shots on net. On the 25th, the boys then took on Marysville. We didn't have any of the coaches on the bench that night due to game misconducts. However, that really didn't stop us. We played very well. Who knows what the game would have ended up being if we had the coaches on the bench. Anyhow, it was a very high-scoring game, back and forth, and although both teams took a lot of penalties, I think most people would agree that was the refs doing. Late in the third period, we tied it up at 5 after suffering an open net goal when we pulled our goalie trying to get back in. Marysville did end up getting a lucky bounce and putting one past us to win the game, but I feel very confident that we have a lot of wins ahead of us. So if you're looking to watch some good hockey, make your way out to the Detroit Skate Club this year and support our United hockey team. Our winter season has started, but that doesn't mean all sports are in action just yet. This week we have girls basketball taking on Bloomfield Hills on the road, and then our home opener taking on Wall Lake Central. The boys basketball team will be kicking off their season as well the following week. We also have bowling, boys swim, wrestling, competitive cheer, and you can't forget about our ski team over at Mount Holly. We have all that to look forward to. On the 25th was Meet the Teams night for our winter sports, and that was held in the Ian Smith Gymnasium. So now it's time to kick it into gear. Anyhow, that's all for this week's report. For any more info on upcoming season openers for the winter, go to oxfordathletics.org. There's plenty of rosters, schedules, and more all right there for you to check out. Once again, that is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at OCCTV.org. All of our coverage of these events and more can be found on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats!
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, after a 20-year absence, the three-cylinder engine is returning to General Motors North American vehicles. The Buick Encore GX and Chevrolet Trailblazer will be offered with a 1.2 and 1.3-liter turbocharged three-cylinder engines starting next year. The last time GM sold a vehicle in the U.S. with a three-cylinder engine was in 2000. The Chevrolet Metro was equipped with a 1-liter non-turbo engine rated at 55 horsepower. In comparison, the automaker's modern-day 1.3-liter is rated at 155 horsepower. GM has not disclosed the 1.2 liters U.S. power specs, but in vehicles sold overseas, it's rated at 137 horsepower. The Encore GX arrives in the first quarter of 2020, while the Trailblazer is scheduled to go on sale in spring as a 2021 vehicle. Both aluminum engines are built on a common architecture, weigh just over 200 pounds, and save about 40 pounds compared with a four-cylinder. Fuel economy figures for the Encore GX and Trailblazer have not been released, but they are likely to be higher than the 25 mile per gallon city, 30 mile per gallon highway, and 27 mile per gallon combined ratings of the 2020 Buick Encore powered by a 1.4-liter engine. The three-cylinder engines, though new to the U.S., have been in production since 2014 and were developed in Europe and Asia by GM and some of its joint venture partners. The engine family is used in several vehicles made by SAIC, which markets vehicles under the MG and ROE brands. That is, SAIC builds its own versions of the engines. GM will make the engines at its Ramos Arizpe, Mexico plant, says Kevin Kelly, a GM spokesman. Ford, Mini, and Mitsubishi also offer three-cylinder engines in North American vehicles. Three-cylinder engines are common in European and Asian small cars. The 1.2-liter engine is one of the smallest displacement engines ever offered by GM in North America. Beside the 1-liter Metro engines, the only other smaller engine was a 1.1-liter four-cylinder available in the Opel GT Sport Coupe in the late 1960s. And on the recall front, Ford Motor Company is recalling 2019 Ford Ranger trucks in North America over taillight malfunctions. Misaligned or improperly seated terminals can cause taillights to work intermittently or not at all, resulting in the loss of brake, turn, and reverse lights, reducing the vehicle's visibility. The recall is for almost 73,000 vehicles in the U.S. and over 5,500 in Canada. Ford is not aware of any accidents or injuries related to the issue, the automaker said in a statement November 26. Dealers will inspect and repin any loose terminal in a replacement connector, Ford said. The 2019 Ford Ranger has also been recalled for 4 other issues this year, according to NHTSA, including an unintentional shift out of park, an improperly assembled front passenger seat belt, and an electrical short in the HVAC blower motor. Ford did not immediately respond to Automotive News for comment on the recalls. And over at Nissan Motor Company is recalling 454,000 vehicles worldwide over a brake fluid leak that could cause a risk of fire. About 394,000 of the vehicles are in the U.S., the company said in government documents. Only about 1% of recalled vehicles are believed to have the defect, the company said in a document filed with NHTSA. The company is recommending owners who see an ABS warning light on the dashboard park their cars outside until they can have the vehicle towed through Nissan or Infiniti roadside assistance to an authorized dealer. The ABS actuator pump's seal could leak brake fluid onto the control electronic circuit board, a statement said by Nissan. If the vehicle continues to be operated in this condition, the brake fluid leak may cause an electrical short in the actuator circuit, which in rare cases could potentially lead to a thermal incident. The recall applies to 2016 to 2018 Nissan Maximas, 2015 to 2018 Nissan Muranos, 2017 to 2019 Nissan Pathfinders, and 2017 to 2019 Infiniti QX60 vehicles. This is the company's 3rd recall for the issue. About 120,000 vehicles were recalled in the U.S. in 2016, and Nissan expanded the recall to 215,000 more in 2018. The faulty ABS actuators are manufactured by Advix Manufacturing in Lebanon, Ohio, the NHTSA document said. The supplier could not be reached by Automotive News. The spokesman for Nissan said in an email statement to Automotive News it's currently developing its remedy plan. Nissan plans to begin notifying owners in early December. NHTSA documents stated owners will receive a second notification when additional remedy parts are available in the summer of 2020. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.
here at OCTV cover the local events and government meetings of Oxford, Addison, and Leonard. We also produce and edit programs for you viewers out there. With the leadership of our station manager, Bill Service, we have been a very successful team, winning awards from the state of Michigan for Best Electronic Media, giving attention to our local veterans. We also won awards for excellence in directing and educational programs. With the help of our great new equipment and our technical directors, we write, produce, and broadcast our local news for you. Without our production manager, Terry Stiles, our channel and station wouldn't be the well-oiled machine it is today. She coordinates the editing assignments and shoot schedule with our editors and camera people. OCTV and its communities make a great team. Catch us anytime on YouTube. Go to Oxford Community Television YouTube.
On Friday, it's Fish Day at the American Legion in Oxford. It runs from noon to 8, and we will have over 300 of our best friends enjoying our fish and our carryout. Sure, we have checked it out, and we have found that we have the best cod and walleye in Michigan. Want dessert? It's all homemade by our auxiliary ladies for just $1. For your vets, we have hats, just $5. On the bar side, here's some of our friends. Hi, everybody! On the museum side, some more friends. Hi again! Where you can check out one of the best military museums in the state. All Friday at the American Legion from noon to 8 at 130 East Drainer Road in Oxford.
On Schooling Around, we don't just school around. We get with everyone from the superintendent to the kids to find out what's new in Oxford schools. Schooling Around, only on OCTV.
Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on.